Stories teach us life lessons in a simple way. They inspire and guide us to become better. The topic "Don't show off." The art of quiet success is important because showing off can make others uncomfortable, while quiet success earns respect. Listening to English stories also helps you learn new words and improve your understanding. So, let's enjoy a story that will make you think and grow. The night was quiet, and the small town of Maplewood was sleeping peacefully. Inside a modest little house, 12-year-old Lucy sat on the floor of her bedroom, staring at an old wooden box she had found in the attic. The box had the initials JW carved on it and a lock that seemed almost ancient. Lucy's curiosity burned as she wondered what secrets it might hold. Could it be treasure? Letters? Something magical? Her heart raced as she held the box. And just then, her mother called her downstairs for dinner. Coming, Lucy shouted, hiding the box under her bed. She couldn't wait to return to her room and open it later. At dinner, her older brother Michael was bragging about the new bike he had bought with his summer job money. "It's the best bike in town," he said proudly, listing all the features to their parents. Lucy watched her parents smile politely, but she could tell they weren't very impressed. Her dad simply said, "That's great, Michael. Just remember, actions speak louder than words." Lucy didn't understand what her dad meant at first. She thought about the box upstairs, wondering if it might teach her something about actions and words. Later that night, when everyone was asleep, Lucy tiptoed to her room and took the box out again. She used a hairpin to pick the old lock. It clicked open with a soft sound. Inside, she found a journal. Its pages were yellowed with time, but the handwriting was neat and careful. The first line read, "The story of John Walker, the man who succeeded in silence." Lucy began reading eagerly, and soon she was pulled into John Walker's world. John Walker was a quiet man who lived in Maplewood many years ago. He wasn't wealthy or famous, but he had one thing everyone admired: wisdom. He was a carpenter by trade, building beautiful furniture. But what set him apart was how he carried himself. John never boasted about his skills. Even when he created something amazing, like a chair so comfortable it felt magical, he let his work speak for itself. One day, a wealthy man named Mr. Grayson visited John's workshop. Mr. Grayson was known for his arrogance and loved to show off his riches. He came to order a table for his grand dining room. "Make me the finest table this town has ever seen," he demanded. "And when it's done, I'll tell everyone it's from my design." John smiled quietly and agreed. He spent weeks crafting the table, putting all his heart and skill into it. The table turned out to be a masterpiece. But instead of seeking praise, John simply delivered it and thanked Mr. Grayson for the opportunity. When Mr. Grayson held a grand party to show off the table, people were amazed. They asked who had made it, but Mr. Grayson took all the credit. However, as time passed, the truth came out. People discovered John's quiet craftsmanship, and they respected him even more. Lucy stopped reading for a moment and thought about her brother Michael. He was always talking about his achievements, but people didn't seem to admire him the way she thought they would. She wondered if her dad's words about actions speaking louder than words were connected to John Walker's story. The journal continued with more stories about John Walker, each one teaching a lesson. There was the time he helped rebuild the school after a fire without asking for recognition, or when he repaired the town's clock tower, quietly leaving it to surprise everyone. Each time, John gained respect not by boasting, but by letting his actions shine. The next day, Lucy decided to try something new. At school, instead of telling everyone about the cool things she had done during the weekend, she focused on listening to her friends. She noticed how happy they were when she gave them her full attention. At home, when her mom asked her to clean her room, she did it without complaining. Her mom smiled and said, "Thank you, Lucy. That means a lot." Lucy felt good. She realized that being humble and focusing on her actions, like John Walker, made her happier. As Lucy finished reading the journal that night, she found one last piece of advice written by John Walker's success is not about what you say, but what you do. Let your work speak for itself, and you will earn true respect. Lucy smiled and closed the journal. She decided she would follow John Walker's example and practice the art of quiet success. This story teaches us that showing off may get attention for a moment, but quiet success lasts forever. When we focus on our work, people notice our actions. To live this way, you can. Let your work shine instead of talking about how great you are. Show it through your actions. Stay humble, remember, there's always more to learn. Help others quietly, good deeds don't need an audience. The most beautiful thought to take away is this: true success doesn't need a spotlight. It glows naturally, touching the hearts of others. Lucy's discovery of John Walker's journal sparked a fire within her. She couldn't stop thinking about how someone so humble could leave such a lasting legacy. That night, as the moonlight filtered through her window, she decided to look for more lessons in her everyday life. The next morning, a new story began to unfold, this time, closer to home. At school, her teacher, Mrs. Bennett, announced an art competition. The winner's artwork will be displayed at the town library, she said. Lucy loved drawing, but her best friend Mia was even better. Mia, however, didn't believe in her talent. You should enter, Lucy encouraged Mia after class. Mia shook her head. What's the point? I'm not good enough. Lucy remembered John Walker's quiet confidence. Instead of arguing, she decided to help Mia without making a big deal about it. Over the next week, Lucy stayed after school with Mia, giving her encouragement and helping her perfect her drawing. On the day of the competition, Mia's painting of a serene forest won first place. Everyone clapped for her, but Mia's eyes were full of gratitude as she hugged Lucy. I couldn't have done this without you, she whispered. Lucy smiled. She hadn't entered the competition herself, but helping Mia succeed felt even better. She realized another lesson sometimes. True success is lifting others up without expecting anything in return. Meanwhile, in the quiet town of Maplewood, another story was quietly brewing. James Carter, a middle-aged man who worked at the local grocery store, was known for his reserved nature. He wasn't the type to talk about his life or boast about his achievements. Few people knew that James had been secretly paying off debts for families struggling in the community. Every week, he'd set aside part of his modest paycheck to help someone anonymously. One day, the mayor announced a special award for acts of kindness in the town. People began speculating about who would win. Some thought it might be Mrs. Palmer, the bakery owner who gave free bread to children. Others guessed it might be Mr. Harris, who fixed bicycles for free. When James's name was called at the award ceremony, the crowd gasped in surprise. James stepped onto the stage, his face red with embarrassment. I don't deserve this, he said softly into the microphone. But the mayor smiled. You may not think so, James, but your actions have touched so many lives. Thank you for showing us the true meaning of generosity. That night, James returned home with a heart full of gratitude. He hadn't sought recognition, but it found him because of his quiet kindness. Lucy read about James Carter in the town newspaper the next day. It felt like John Walker's story had come to life right in her own neighborhood. Inspired, she decided to practice even more acts of quiet success. One evening, Lucy saw her elderly neighbor, Mr. Thompson, struggling to carry groceries into his house. Without a word, she ran over to help. Thank you, young lady, Mr. Thompson said with a smile. What's your name? Lucy shrugged playfully. Just someone who likes to help. That small act of kindness made her day. She realized that quiet success wasn't about being famous, it was about making someone else's day better. Lucy also noticed her brother Michael starting to change. After hearing their dad's words about actions, Michael stopped bragging so much about his bike. Instead, he began offering rides to friends who didn't have one. Soon, his classmates started calling him the nicest guy in school. One day, Michael came home smiling. "You know, Lucy, it feels better to do something good without talking about it. People notice anyway." Lucy grinned. "I told you so." Another memorable story came from Lucy's classmate Ethan. Ethan was quiet and often sat alone at lunch. Many assumed he didn't have much to say, but Lucy saw him sketching intricate designs in his notebook one day. "Wow, Ethan. These are amazing," Lucy said. Ethan blushed. "Thanks, but they're just doodles." "They're more than that," Lucy said. "You should enter the school's design contest." Ethan hesitated, but Lucy's encouragement gave him the courage to try. Weeks later, Ethan's design won the contest, and he was invited to present it at a local art fair. Ethan's quiet success inspired the whole school, proving that even the shyest person can shine when their work speaks for itself. As Lucy grew older, she continued living by the lessons she had learned. She didn't need to brag about her grades or accomplishments. Instead, she let her actions and kindness define her. And slowly, she noticed how people respected her not because she talked about her achievements, but because they could see her values in everything she did. Here are more tips to practice the art of quiet success. Listen more. Speak less, pay attention to what others say. Listening makes people feel valued. Do good without expectation. Acts of kindness are more meaningful when done selflessly. Stay focused on growth instead of seeking attention. Focus on improving yourself. Success will follow. Celebrate others' wins, cheer for others' achievements without jealousy or comparison. Be patient, quiet success takes time, but it's always worth the wait.